Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to this week's episode of Walking 90. I'm your host, as always, Elliot Barr. We got a whole bunch to talk about. We got playoffs. We got coaches that are horny and throwing out their cash apps. We got teams that got relegated. We got teams that got promoted. We got players that are a little bit horny, but also scoring goals. And we got teams that are trying to figure out whether or not they're the underdog or not. Welcome to the regular week in USL League One, the craziest fucking league in the world. Once again, my name is Yogi Barr. If you see this cash app right here, cash app this coach, send him $1. By the way,
send him 69 cents.
Yeah, there we go.
TikTok curses.
Got to send him enough money for that OnlyFans account.
We're a minute and 15 seconds in.
Right. Joining me right there beside me is a guy who is not going to travel to Chattanooga because he's like, well, what's the fucking point? It's Mr. Chip the Ripper. How are you doing, sir?
Good. In fairness, I'm pretty sure I'm already banned from Chattanooga Stadium anyway, so fuck them.
Well, hey, you can go to another playoff game in Chattanooga because Chattanooga FC has a playoff game. I think actually the next day. So
I might get some free beers when I go to CFC games.
There you go. There you go. Also, another guy joining us is a guy who does all the commentary for all the podcasts in Madison. And Kyle, question: when this Milwaukee team come up, are you going to be a supporter of them as well, or are you going to be like, eh?
I'll probably check some matches out. I'll probably watch matches. Like, I'll follow it and go to games every once in a while, but it's not like I'm going to be like doing a podcast. The involvement that I have with Madison and everything I'm doing with that, I'm not doing for Milwaukee. But, I'll watch and hope that they do well and go to games.
Everyone else, I'm going to rule Kyle from this because Kyle's going to lie. Everyone else, do you believe Kyle when he say he's not going to be on the podcast for Milwaukee?
No.
Thank you.
Wait. Are you saying, am I going to make a guest appearance or am I going to start and be a host of a podcast?
Guest appearance.
Oh, well, yeah. There'll probably be a chance that I'm going to do a guest appearance. I'm not going to,
there it is.
Yeah.
There it is, folks.
A guest appearance is nothing. I'm not going to start a
Kyle,
podcast.
a guest appearance then turns to you hosting the podcast for a month because the host isn't there. And
In
then
fairness,
turns into you being a regular occurrence on the show.
You're the correspondent for Milwaukee's 2 teams, so they'll want to know who the developing prospects are, who's coming up, what merch concepts are going to be making their way up to the Cream City.
They better not do Cream City as like the team name. That's all I'm going to say.
You know they are. And
I don't think they will. I legit don't think it'll be Cream City.
Cream City. You know who else likes Cream City? The coach of Chattanooga.
God damn it. I will say, on that note, I said it as a joke, but I said they should go with the High Lifers, which is not actually that bad. I think that's fine. I know I'm in the minority here, but I think city name FC is fine. That's sufficient. Like, throw some animal in the logo or something, and the fans will go from there. But, like, city name FC.
No, the best one I've seen is Milwaukee's Best FC. That was a pretty good one.
Beast.
Yeah, there you go.
That was
pretty good. One-eye snake.
Last time I was up in Milwaukee, my brother-in-law had some in his fridge that were probably like 3 years old. And he's like, "You want one?" It's like, no, I do not.
You should not. That is your go-to keg beer in college. Like, you should not be drinking that after you graduate.
He got it for free from the bar he worked at, which I guess says a lot about his
problem. Make some brats.
Look at that beautiful thing.
I mean,
I don't think PBR is brewed there. No, PBR is brewed there now. That was a whole thing.
Yeah, not to the largest extent that it used to be, but yeah, it still is. There's still buildings dedicated to it and stuff.
There we go. All right. Also joining us is a guy that has little baby bitch lungs like me. It's Mr. Brandon Mays. How are you doing, sir?
I'm all right.
We're in this together. We both have baby bitch lungs.
Yeah. No, I'm all right. I'm recovering from a little bit of a sickness, but I'm okay. So I made it here. I came here tonight to talk about the playoffs and hear you talk about everything else. I'll let you. Oh no.
Yeah.
Damn.
I got you, Brandon. Don't worry.
Never mind. I want to bet. I'm feeling kind of sick.
Bolt's to get sound clips for TikTok.
I'm feeling kind of sick again, y'all. I gotta go to bed.
Look, if this show was only Brandon, Chip, Ab, and Kyle, this show will be done in like 40 minutes. What do we go that extra 50? It's because of me, and I'm fine with that.
No,
You want a
I
little
like it. I'm glad. If this show is only 40, put it away.
If
I'm
you
not-
want
Is
to,
his name Brandon Mason Wrong?
Yes.
if you want a spoiler alert for what's coming later on in the show, you should check out my Twitter.
Oh my gosh. If this show was 40 minutes long, it wouldn't be as good. So
That's also true.
Oh,
How does it feel to get trolled by a bird?
for weeks. This is my fault. I did this. I made the mistake. So I own that. But oh my gosh.
All right.
I was
Last but
wrong.
not least, joining us, it is the two-time winner of the wooden spoon, who will probably deny it at all costs, like Donald Trump has denied what happened in Mar-a-Lago. It's Miss Ebony Christmas. How are you, ma'am?
Chilling. I'm here for vibes and team chaos. So
Just
good
like
luck
your
with
team.
that.
Just like, so once again, we're trying to figure out, like, next year, I'm pretty sure we're going to have a supporter shield trophy and a last place trophy. Which would be better, a wooden spoon or a golden toilet seat?
We talked about this last week, and the answer is you're not giving anyone a golden toilet. Just give me the spoon.
I feel like the golden toilet would be better. It's there.
No.
And think about it. If your team is better, you don't win it, so you don't actually have to hold it. See?
Well, the biggest competition also just relegated themselves. So
This is also true.
This is a good point.
This is also true. I guess, matter of fact, let's go ahead and start with that. News got released, what was it, Tuesday? I felt like it was Tuesday.
yeah, it was Tuesday.
Came out of way left field. FC Tucson has decided to relegate themselves to League Two. I feel like that's really harsh.
Self-relegating. That's a Richmond specialty.
It is. It's also an NCFC specialty. Got
Also
one more
Charlotte.
team.
especially.
Right. Actually, 3 clubs in League One has done that. But
We
FC
can
Tucson,
make the self-relegating derby when they come back up.
there you go. I really feel like this is something unique to FC2 because they were a team that got kind of promoted themselves up. For those that don't know, they started off in USL, PDL was the Professional Development League, came up to USL League One, and I think it was either you, Kyle, who said it, but to the fact that Tucson lasted as long as they did, given for the first 3 years, they were the only team out there on that West Coast. And we're talking about during like 2 years of the pandemic. It really sucks to see how they kind of went out because even though the team on the field product wasn't as great, it was still a fun team to watch. And, those 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock monsoon games are going to be sorely missed within the USL League One community.
But no, I will say, like, it was an interesting situation, right? Because, I mean, when they first started, like, year one, they were the affiliate of Phoenix Rising. So they had that blanket. Then they decided to go independent. I was like, okay, cool. Pandemic happened. That probably didn't help things. And then the last 2 years, it's been like, okay, yeah, the on-field product has not been as good as it should be. And what made it harder is the owner, like the previous owner, has, I guess, some investment or their work. The reason why he's leaving is so he can focus on getting their stadium situation figured out so that the USL Championship Rhode Island team can happen. Mm-hmm. So once that was a thing, I was like, okay, well, they're going to sell their shares. It went to Perlman, who I can't think of anyone better to take it because he was pretty much like the head guy before when they were back in PDL. And John pretty much was just like, yeah, I mean, financially, it doesn't make sense. Like, I don't have the money to like continue doing League One. They're going to continue. They're just going to go down League Two. I think he's working on trying to get the investors, get the stadium situation figured out because the previous ownership group had some struggles with the county and the stadium. As it was noted, it was like when one of the monsoon games happened, there was no staff from like the stadium complex didn't have their staff to clear the water off the field. So then the Tucson staff has to do it. And they couldn't get to the tools because it was locked. So I think it was like there was definitely some tension there. And I know John's working on I don't want to say repairing it, but basically getting it back to a good place. So between those two factors of getting more investors and getting the stadium situation figured out, it's easier financially to just go down to League Two, continue building that fan support. I know John's working on talking with the fans and everything, and it definitely felt like when they come back up and get to a profession at the highest professional level, not an if. I think the biggest thing for John is just getting some investors, getting some people involved, focus on the academy, get Tucson in a place where it's more manageable. I mean, they got University of Arizona in their backyard. They still have the women's team. So I feel confident John's going to get them back. But it is kind of unfortunate because obviously players now are suddenly out of work. Like maybe those that had 2-year contracts or an option are out of work. There's probably staff. There's probably going to be an overhaul staff because you don't need as many people for a League Two season than a League One season, but they're still going to continue doing that MLS preseason down there. So I think that's still a good revenue source for them and having that availability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The article is.
You were talking about the stadium situation. What's kind of happening with that? Because you're the one that kind of tipped us to it.
Oh yeah.
So, go ahead, Jeff.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think Kyle hit most of it. So there was that's some sort of municipal stadium deal. So it's like kind of similar to like how Madison's technically like in a city of Madison stadium, how Omaha's technically in a Sarpy County stadium, which is the county they're in. However, in both those instances, Madison's parent company is the operator of said stadium, and Omaha's parent company is the operator of said stadium. So it's almost like the Greenville situation where they're at that early college, but instead of it being kind of an amicable situation, they're kind of being pricks about it, and they didn't want to do a lot of stuff, and your hands are kind of tied to a certain degree there because you are not the operator of the stadium. You are not the owner of that stadium. You are merely a tenant. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to sell beer after a certain time, it's like, well, no, we only sell this. If you want to have a higher percentage of concession cuts, it's like, well, no, sorry. And it's just kind of one of those interesting things. And to Kaylor's point, I wonder with this too, because I think Tucson, despite their size, is always an organization that I think has had a lot of professionalism. Apparently the players found out from the announcement. I wouldn't be surprised if the owner of the team said, hey, I'm folding the team because I'm going to go do Rhode Island. And then Perlman came in and just bought the team, and his only recourse was League Two. One, because I don't think he probably meets the $10 million liquid net worth requirement for third division U.S. soccer. And two, cash flow wise, it doesn't make sense. But it was interesting in the statement that it says they will move back up to League One pending a new stadium. So I wonder if they're still retaining the franchise rights for a League One team. It's just there's a little clause there saying dependent on the stadium. So it's
yeah, Perlman has the League One rights. Like he has it. So that's why I was saying, if he can get the stadium, if he can get the additional investor money wise, they'll go back up. And I think that's why when I asked him, do you have a bench, do you have a time frame when that wants to happen? He said, obviously, the sooner the better, but he's feeling pretty confident that he can get there. Like I said, that's why I feel like it's a matter of when in Tucson's case. I don't feel like it's, when Penn FC was supposed to come down or Rochester when they were initially going to self-relegate to League One and it just never happened. I don't get that feeling from Tucson at the moment. And I think that's also just the big thing with the stadium, all the teams in League One besides Greenville, Fuego, and I guess NOCO have either primary tenantship or primary control of their stadium, or in the case Tormento or Chat or NCFC, they're it's their stadium. Mm-hmm. They don't have to whatever, it's theirs. But in Greenville and Tucson and the other case, it's well, you're the tenant. And I think in Greenville's case, it's not ideal, but they still draw enough people where maybe the financial hit doesn't hurt as much. Because, Greenville's still getting, around 2,700 people, which
we don't own our stadium. NCFC doesn't own their stadium. We are primary tenants with the Courage, but we don't own it. That's the town of Cary.
Okay.
And also, our stadium lease ended.
Hmm.
So our relationship with Legacy is considered over, I believe. Starting
Like, season.
Yeah, they did a thank you thing and everything.
But
So
that's
I
what. But what I'm saying is, like with Tucson's case, because I think with the lower attendance, it was probably more of a financial hit than say Greenville or even Fuego, and they're working on potentially getting a stadium. I think that's why Greenville is working so hard to get the stadium, is probably because financially it just hurt too much. Sorry,
Yeah.
Bucks got a 3.
Yeah, there was a thing in Fresno City Council literally last night about Fresno trying to buy like the old Civic Center site in Fresno.
So I think that's going to be I think the stadium's kind of like the biggest hurdle, and then getting other people to buy in is probably like step 2.
Yeah.
Greenville
and
to
I think-
Furman. What about Greenville to Clemson?
Stop.
That was the worst.
We do not need. Okay, I know Clemson isn't SEC, but that's basically SEC. That's an SEC.
USL SEC, baby. We're gonna be on CBS Network.
Which I think at this point it's not really a secret because everyone talks about it. But I know, like, at least in Omaha, everyone always asks, well, why doesn't Omaha play at Creighton, which is my alma mater? And it's like, well, because Creighton did not want it to be like a partnership. It was kind of like, you can play here, but it's going to be under our terms, and like we get ours, and then you get like whatever's left over. And so I think that's really like the big thing with the push for primary tenancy or owner operatorship or anything like that, is because then you have a lot of control over concessions and parking and ticketing and the suites and the naming rights. Because like the naming rights alone, I think for Werner Park where Omaha plays, I think naming rights are over $1 million a year. So that's like a lot of money. And even if you get half of that, that's
Still money.
That's more than most teams' rosters.
Yeah.
I think the average roster in USL 1 is between like $300,000 to $400,000. So if you're getting, $300,000 to $400,000 per year in naming rights for the stadium, that's your entire roster right now. So that's why everyone's in such a rush to build these stadiums, is because, man, that makes things cash flow really easy. And then it's not even the stadium. You could name like the lounges, you could name certain areas, you could do the concessions deals, and there's just so much more opportunity to sell sponsorships and partnerships and everything else.
But I think that's also what's going to make the next, like Greenville, Omaha, Lexington, like when they start getting those stadiums, like how if they can get that to go in their favor, Fuego, NOCO, like I said, technically they would be the primary tenants of that sports complex, but no one knows where the fuck that is completion wise. Like the baseball stadium seemed to be done, and there seem to be buildings up, but we don't know anything about the soccer field.
Mm-hmm.
And there doesn't seem to be any update. So I don't know what's going on there, but I think that's going to be the interesting part for especially future League One teams. It's like, get your stadium taken care of first, like Spokane, get the stadium part done, then focus on the rest.
Yeah. And I think too, with kind of how NOCO went, I think that they're really hungry for another team. Obviously with COVID and supply chain delays and everything else this year, like it didn't happen on time. But that's why it seems like a lot of these teams are kind of being pushed off till 2024 from last year, 2025 from this year, is because they want you to have a place to play when you start. They don't want any of this nomad bullshit anymore. And the reason why Knoxville is playing is because Knoxville has a team, they have a front office, they have all the mechanisms of a team, and they have a place to play. So the only difference is they're going to be professional instead of semi-pro.
But they were always aimed to be professional as well. Like that was always the aim when they started. It's like, we want to get up to League One.
Right. And so I think, that was the open secret for Knoxville. We're just all waiting on them making an announcement, which is why every time anybody was like, hey, announcement on League One, everyone's like, it's Knoxville. And I think the next one is going to be Ballard, where like everybody and their second cousin knows that Ballard is going to go up to League One. It's just a matter of like when.
And then there's Portland tweeting, see you soon. It's like, no, you're fucking not, you liars.
No, you're not.
No.
Trick me. You cannot trick me.
So Tucson goes down. Knoxville goes up. What is our early season predictions?
What do you mean?
Yeah, like Are we three-peating? Is NCFC three-peating with Knoxville coming up? Is
I gotta see.
Knoxville all of a
I gotta
sudden
see.
in the
I gotta
playoffs?
see who Knox get on their roster first.
Huh?
Let
Yeah.
me see a roster first. Then.
Yeah, because we made this mistake with Charlotte.
Oh, that's
Right.
true.
Mhm.
Let me see a roster first.
The thing
It'll be
off their roster from League Two, they're gonna be stupid good.
Yeah.
Absolutely stupid good.
Well, I think that's, again, like we've talked about 1,000 times, that's the interesting thing about League One is there's all sorts of talent acquisition and retention strategies that work really, really well. It's just a matter of which one are you going to choose.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
Well, and I was going to say, you can go with like a League Two or young squad and do pretty well, like NCFC showed earlier in the year.
Mhm.
And you can go with a lot of championship guys and struggle. Like there is no one way to build
I would disagree with that, man. I think that's probably the least effective measure
what?
because we only see going to League
What,
Two
the
route.
championship?
No. I'm saying like going with a League Two predominant roster that has a lot of youth behind it because we seen that with Tormenta year one, how they started out strong and then flamed out. In NCFC kind of the same thing. I think you're probably gonna need guys that are just a little bit. It's fine to bring up some of those guys, but you can't bring up that
Right.
entire roster. It
can't be
this
your
is the
core.
core.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
Well, I
can't
think
do
with all this stuff, it's a dice roll. And if you get guys, if you did that and like some of them get hot and good, like you could win, but are they? No. And I think that's kind of
I mean, that's
getting
kind
ahead of ourselves.
That's the Cincinnati model or the Minnesota model where they just literally took their USL team and said go play in MLS for a
Got their ass
season
beat.
and
That
be
worked
bad.
really well.
It worked for Minnesota. It did not work for
It
Cincinnati.
took Minnesota a couple of years to get there because Minnesota's bad in year one. And I think the other thing, and when I was talking to New Zealand Bartman, he was saying like having that core helps with the continuity and chemistry and everything else, which is why the teams that are doing really well, they had their core and they kept that core consistent. And why Tormenta did so well because they already had the guys. They knew how to play together, while the rest of the league is a bunch of dudes that just met for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's right too. It's just more so about like you kind of look. It's kind of like the same kind of drop off. It's kind of like that early July. It's been both Tormenta in 2019 and NCFC over the last 2 years have kind of just dropped off just because they're consistently. You're just not used to playing that same amount. Any last thoughts on this on the Tucson fiasco? Not fiasco, but self-relegation before we move on to the next topic.
So where does that leave
For
the rest of the
Tucson-
league?
Oh, we're at 12 teams.
Is that
I
But
12?
I was going to say,
For now.
Tucson-wise, I wish them the best of luck. I hope they come back soon. To the Tucson fans, give John a chance. Give this team a chance still. Like, I feel as though the goals that they have and the effort they're putting is still going to be there. It's just going to be, I guess, quote-unquote, in a smaller scale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, true.
And congrats, Knoxville. Can't wait to see you soon.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I will say this is my last thought about it. If Tucson was going to stay up, like if they were gonna stay in for next year, I truly thought that John Perrin was gonna go back up to the front office and they were gonna go get Phoenix old coach, Rick. He was the first head coach there.
Mm-hmm.
And it would
Run it back in League Two. Let's go.
Let's say that doesn't stop them, right?
Hey,
it doesn't.
John's not
It
doing
doesn't.
coaching. He said, I'll do it in an emergency, but I am not coaching this League Two team.
John was tired. He was like,
Run it back.
Well, I think they're going to get this U14 guy from Richmond that's kind of buzzy right now.
Hey, that's
Well, they can get Jimmy Weekly.
No.
Well,
Don't
you
wish
got to
that
give him
evil
a
upon him.
Playboy subscription to come there.
Well, he wouldn't go there because it's not Tempe.
Yeah.
It's close enough to Tempe.
All right. Well, we got that underway, and like we've also been saying as well, Knoxville is coming up from USL League 2. So congratulations to them. We have 12 teams. So it's going to be interesting how they do the schedule next year.
Who
with
am I
12
missing?
teams for 11. Guys, I
What are
say
you
we
talking
start.
about now?
What?
I'm not counting 12.
You're probably missing Chattanooga or Fuego. Everyone forgets Chattanooga. They always do.
Yeah.
I was like,
Everybody, whenever people are naming teams, it's like always Chattanooga, which is hilarious because they're always in the news, but never for the right reasons.
That most recent comment needs to be put up.
Just want to put it out there. Your Twitter likes some public people. Only you can prevent the horniness on the timeline.
Never be horny on Maine before noon.
Whoa, hey, I ain't gonna say all that. Now. Sometimes
I
you
was
just
gonna
gotta
say
let it
we have
fly.
a guy that will constantly tweet horny things on Maine
Yeah.
before noon.
Do what you want. Just be aware.
Yeah, you just gotta live in it. Don't be blocking people and whatnot. Just live in your horniness.
Again,
No.
there's nothing wrong with being horny on Maine. Just realize the likes are public.
But also, don't be throwing your cash app out there.
Yeah, that part was that's
That's
the
the funny part because you were getting paid as a coach and you just throwing your cash app out there.
So for the people who aren't on Twitter, can we just like sum that up really quickly?
Oh man,
What do you mean?
All right.
Being horny
Can I
on
sum it up
Maine?
real quickly?
I think we've done it.
I want
think
the
we done it.
Yogi. Give me that solo cam. Give me that solo cam.
Oh my!
Oh,
Fuck it, allow it.
Do it.
Allow it.
You guys
I gotta laugh at this. I gotta laugh at the Sixers, so allow it.
Okay. So, first of all, shout out to the Walkin' 90 tip line, MVPs of the game. We received a tip that we should go look at Jimmy Weekly's Twitter, especially his likes and his comments. So we did look at his likes and his comments. In his likes, Jimmy liked a bunch of tweets from people who were, I didn't investigate much. Yogi probably did. They are either Russian porn fishing bots and not like, the type of guys that are dragging cod out of the ocean, or like OnlyFans models or something, which, whatever, like that's fine. But it's also like kind of a bad look for a coach. So we sat on it for a couple days, and then we just, with Omaha playing Chattanooga in the playoffs, I kind of said, fuck it. We can't get anybody to bite on it. Like, I'm going to go ahead and take one. And I just gave him a very professional, hey man, just so you know, Twitter likes are public. And that
let's not go professional. Let's not lie.
It was not professional. No, it was very not professional.
Yeah, don't lie.
And it devolved into a lot of masturbation jokes at his expense, jokes about being horny on Maine, and then ultimately resulted in Jimmy Weekly blocking, I think, like half of USL One Twitter.
Hey, he blocked y'all. He ain't blocked me.
Me neither.
Yeah, I'm fine.
But I think like the most surprising thing out of all of it, which is like probably the sketchiest part, was the Cash App stuff. Yes.
God damn it.
What is this? Wait a minute.
Why?
I will say one of the people that we tried to get to say this was Bolt, and said, hey, Bolt, check out Jimmy Weekly's likes. And Bolt was like, too hot for me, too spicy for me. But yeah, so this is the type of things that Jimmy was liking. And, ultimately, like on the grand scheme of things Chattanooga's done to like stick their foot in their own mouth this year, this is like the least bad. This is like not like bad. It's just like fucking hilarious.
No,
It's a funny thing.
Association, Caleb.
Evan's over here tweeting in the offseason. Like,
Yes.
God damn it.
Ford Madison even made a joke. Ford Madison on the official account made a joke about it. But, again, it's like, it's just
I swear
funny.
Every social media manager made a joke in
Yes.
some way or another.
Mm-hmm. And ultimately, it's just funny. The Omaha fans, if they have any chutzpah, are going to make jokes about it. They'll have a banner or something that'll get taken away by Chattanooga. We can all act offended by that. And, ultimately, it's just like really funny. And if Jimmy's here next year, like, oh boy, he better buckle up. He's going to have a lot of
I want
comments.
that cash. I'm doing a Cash App TiVo. Which, by the way, don't ever tweet out the word Cash App. You will have like 1,000 bots.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's
thanks
my
for
fault.
that.
That's
We
my
just
fault.
got one. We got a spam one. Thanks.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's on me. That's on
1,000
me.
bots.
Yeah, I mean, and ultimately, it's just really funny. And I guess here's just the reminder that, sex work is real work and yada, yada, yada. But at the same time, it's okay to make fun of people for being horny online.
Yeah.
That's fun. It's really funny.
And if you don't want people to make fun of you for being horny online, click on your profile picture. There's 3 dots. Click that. Create new account. Make yourself a burner. Go like
I was
all the
just about
porn
to say
shit you
that's
want.
why you have a burner account.
Mhm.
Or just
There's
go
a
on the
joke
hub
there.
like a normal horny
Well-
person.
Well, right. Like there's a multitude of internet sites that are free that you can use.
But also, good job wanting to pay.
Excuse me. I have a question. I have a question.
You got a question?
God damn it.
Do you think the reason why he's throwing his cash app out there is to pay for the OnlyFans accounts? Just asking.
I mean,
I don't know if we could put that. I don't know if we could put that sentence on.
Oh, God.
DMs can't
Taylor.
be. Not all DMs can be free.
Just saying.
We
Well, I
can't-
think what we learned is that Chattanooga does not pay their assistant / temporary head coach enough money to like not be begging for money on the internet. Because like I could certainly use $25,000 US, but I'm certainly not going to go on Twitter and be like, "Hey, send me $25,000 US. Here's my Cash App."
You think he's a feet guy?
Oh, 100%. He's old and white. 100%.
He's okay.
And he's from Chattanooga. Hell, he probably like girls with no teeth. I'd have killed Brandon. All right. Like I said before, if I wasn't on the show will only be 40 minutes.
It's been 30 minutes, and we've barely talked actual USL League One.
There's been news.
Yeah, we talked news, and
I guess
yeah.
here's everyone's opportunity. Comment section included. Anybody have any jokes to get out? Cash App
No.
jokes?
This is your
Hey,
last.
you can rub it
More
out.
jokes?
Nope, I'm good. I'm looking at Kayla's message here, and I know we can't put it up, and I'm just
Nope, but it's a good one.
You shouldn't do this, but that
That's not the one I was thinking, but
that's not the one I was thinking either. We're here, Kyle.
Oh,
but God damn it.
Oh, that is golden. That is golden.
You know how we said we weren't going to be a show after Yogi bringing up RICO charges with Corey Herzog?
For sure.
Right?
This is actually going to shut down the show.
Yeah, this is it right here.
Wait, what did Corey Herzog do?
He didn't do anything.
He thought it was a drug front because there's no way that move could have happened so quickly.
You don't
Once
remember this?
again, let's go through how this move happened.
Yeah.
Corey Herzog, wherever his name is, gets signed by Union Omaha. Harper makes a statement saying, "We have officially released a player within the span of 6 minutes. Drug money." Or Chattanooga is just being a drug front for Cash App. Who knows?
Preview last week's games.
Right. We'll
Yeah,
go to
anyways.
that. All right. Sorry about the jokes. So we'll start off. We'll go in chronological order. We won't go super in depth about the games because some games didn't matter as much as others. We'll start off with Union Omaha versus Central Valley Fuego. Notable things about this game was Omaha's attack.
Nothing. The game didn't happen.
It did happen,
No, it
Chip.
happened.
Live with it. I need you to fester in this, Chip.
Live
Okay?
in it.
Look, I don't get all that bullshit last week. You sit with this, all right?
Right. No one told your team to go out there and let Cheney get 10 goals and chip you from half. That's on y'all. You live in this, sir.
So this is how bad that game was. So I fully went in being like, everything is going to happen. We're going to win. We're going to end up in second place. We got beat. I didn't watch another minute of USL soccer that weekend. I went home. I just like sat in my little office,
Goddamn,
just
Chip,
being
this game,
mad.
You a family man? Shit.
Well, the baby was there too, but I was mad holding the baby, which is probably not great either. But anyways, I thought Richmond beat Greenville until like Tuesday.
Yeah, I did too.
And I was like, Omaha would have been in second place if we had gotten our shit figured out. I had this whole bit planned for the podcast, which in fairness, we would have been third if we had won, which is like still good. But it's like, it's a tiny margin of error. And, I think again for Omaha, it's been injuries killed us this year. And, we'll get into it in the playoff preview here in a little bit, but Omaha has been a team that the offensive signings we made in the offseason to replace Mr. Hurst and Conway and Boyce and like all the names that we remember from last year didn't pan out as much as we would like. So we were a team that defended on defense, which was fine because we got a lot of draws and we had a lot of wins that should have been draws and a lot of draws that should have been losses. But then you have Tucson going down in Richmond. You have Nuhu going down also versus Richmond. You have Bawa going down, which was a much bigger hit than we thought it would be. And all of a sudden you're down to like 2 of the 5 defensive starters from the beginning of the year being on the team. And that's when like the wheels came off the bus. And, you know, it's interesting. I think for Omaha, it's still a successful season. We talked about it last week. I think saying that Omaha season's like a failure or not great, I think is a bit reactionary. We still made the playoffs. We still went to the round of 8 in the Open Cup, and you know, who knows what happens. And we will get to the playoff predictions here in a bit. But you know, Omaha's a very favorable route to the semifinals, and so that's like the weird thing about having a playoffs in soccer versus like every other soccer league in the world is you can have a horrible season, but then if you make the playoffs, you can still be the champion. Is Omaha going to be the champion? Probably not, but could it happen? Sure.
I think the thing with Omaha, though, was in this game in particular, in the first half, they were stringing passes together. They looked relatively okay in attack, and they couldn't get a great chance. Mm-hmm. But then in the second half, they kind of just decided, all right, fuck it. We're going to defend, get the ball, and just yeet it as far, just long ball at up top and hope that there's a mistake on Fuego's end. And Omaha can capitalize on it. And there are moments where that could have turned in their favor, but that wasn't a cohesive enough strategy. And especially after Fuego scored the first goal and Omaha's still doing the same thing. It's like they just ran out of ideas. I think that was the part that was concerning, is more, it almost felt as though they panicked. Mm-hmm. And they weren't trying to string the passes together. They kind of did 1 or 2 passes and then launched the ball upfield. And again, do 1 or 2 passes, launch the ball upfield. There was never a slowly move it forward. It was always just hope for the best. And I think that's the part that is more concerning in terms of Omaha's attack, is if they go down 1-0, are they going to try and just counter, like long ball direct as possible and hope that they can get a quick goal? Or are they going to be patient enough? And that's where I don't know if that's going to work out. Against Chattanooga, it's a little bit more likely because Chattanooga is going to want to be on the front foot, so maybe Omaha can catch them in that regard. But Omaha's defense is good enough to win a championship. Omaha's attack is bad enough that they will shoot blanks the whole time, like Jimmy Weekly probably does in his spare time, and get them out of the playoffs.
God damn it.
No, I mean, right. A lot of their best, like a lot of their wins. Like, I mean, you think about the North Carolina game. That was like, there was a lob down the field by Ryan Jiba that was clearly just a clearance that ends up on the feet of, I think it was Corey Herzog, right? Like, and then, I mean, that happened over and over again. They had 3 goals that were just mistakes. You think about Chattanooga. When they play against Chattanooga, same thing. They win a second ball. Who was that won the second ball in that game? I don't remember.
It was someone random. It was like Eddie Bruce or something. Yeah.
It was. So like they have literally thrived off of mistakes and launching it long and hoping for the best. I mean, a lot of their wins have come from that. And so, I mean, again, like Kaylor said it, you said it, Kyle. Like their team, so strong defensively. If they can hold on, you know, there's no chance. There's a chance they can win the whole thing. But if they just do that the entire time and Chattanooga doesn't show, I mean, I don't see how they can get anywhere.
It's going to be interesting. That matchup. So we go to the next game that happened. It was the 1 versus 2 game again. Which, by the way, every time Richmond and Greenville have played each other, Brandon, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a 1 versus 2 matchup, right?
More or less.
Season?
I think so. I think every time we played, I think it's been a 1 versus 2.
Yeah, this season.
Yeah, because you guys were one. This was when you guys were much closer in the standings, though.
Yep. But pretty much all from this game that happened was Amy wins the Golden Boot, and Greenville claws one back to get a draw, get a whole playoff game, and then celebrate in front of the Red Armies if they won the title.
That was beautiful.
I mean, they won a regular season title.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, we did. And I had fun. I got shit faced. It was wonderful. That was absolutely shit faced. I went into that game not caring. Celebrated the first goal, saw them score the second. I mean, you saw Greenville score, and I was just like, okay.
It was me at the Henny Derby, basically.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That was it. Well, I mean, Brandon, what are your takeaways from a Greenville perspective? I mean, you guys got the draw at, the 86th minute.
Yeah.
To get the home game that you guys needed. It felt like it was something that – because I think at one point you guys were actually fourth in the table, if I'm doing the math right, or third.
There was a chance that night that we ended – I think we still would have had a home playoff no matter what, I think, at the point towards the end of the game. But it was – I mean, it wasn't looking good.
There was one point where they were fourth. Like, for maybe 5 minutes, they were sitting in fourth place.
Yeah, I mean, for one, Alex Cox Ashwood kind of coming in and scoring his second goal. That kid, he's fought so hard all season long. I mean, he hadn't got a ton of playing time, but like you can't deny how hard he works off the ball. I think that's one of my favorite things about him is he presses intensely, he presses well. But man, it was a struggle to watch that game. I mean, at times, and Ryan made the joke. Evan Lee is basically Messi. We do this a lot. Greenville will end up Evan Lee he's given the freedom to make all these runs forward and basically become an attacker, and he's incredible at it for some reason. It's he literally just goes he just at the 60th minute decides he's going to start going on an adventure, and I mean that's what got us the goal was Evan Lee carrying the ball at the field, getting into the final third, our center back getting into the final third and putting in a cutback. And it's just, I do worry coming into the playoffs, that has to be cleaned up. You know what I mean? Our center back can't be the guy putting in cutback crosses when we're one down, in a semifinal game. I really hope that was, I think, the biggest worry for me. I think we looked fine defensively. I think we have all season, but yes, Joel Matzik for sure. But I mean, I am a little bit anxious about that just because that in the final third we have not we've had the most I think we have the most shots in the league still, and we are probably fifth or sixth in goals, and it's just that we haven't gotten good shots, and I think just the past 5 or 6 games we haven't looked good enough in the final third. So I'm a little anxious. I'm excited, obviously, because I know my team is good enough to win a title. But I'm a little anxious coming out of this game for sure.
Yeah, I'm not. I was champion. I know
I'm
you're not even trying to be cocky. It's just more so that night was cool as shit.
Yeah,
it's cool as shit. Luke Pavone almost broke his damn neck doing Black Phillips. Yogi celebrated himself, and it was kind of fun. Once again, I was shit-faced. I probably drank a half a box of Twisted Teas by myself. It had 2 IPAs. Yeah, I was gone. I was gone. And I had to walk up and down steps. Yeah. Also, I did mess up. So I thought it was going to be cold. I had a hoodie on. Dog, I was sweating by the 20th minute. And this is beer sweat.
I speak for Kyle when I don't want to hear anybody south of the Mason-Dixon line talking about cold.
Well, it was 70 degrees. I thought it was going to be cold because I've been in my house all day. I was in my house the entire day. And I was like, oh, because no.
I thought you were going to say it was 50, and I would be okay, fine. I get that. What? 70?
Okay.
Get the fuck out of here.
I thought it was going to be cold. So
it was 70 degrees. I had to put my hoodie on.
No.
Fuck out of here.
I thought it was going to be 50 or 50 degrees. I was like, all right, I'll put a hoodie on. Whatever. I get outside.
Did you not look at your phone?
I'm like, oh, I don't fuck up.
Well, especially if you had 18 Twisted Teas and some IPAs.
Yeah, man.
Got that coat on.
Gone. And Kyle, y'all been to City Stadium. And you know that hill you got to walk up to get to the top of the concourse?
Oh, yeah. From the tailgate? Nah.
I had to walk up that chain. halfway, I'm like, hey, Lord, if you want to take me now, I'd have seen that.
Okay, 30s is cold. No, I will give him that. 30s is cold. I will give in the chat they're saying like it was 30 this morning. That's fine. That is cold. That's
Yeah,
chill.
it's been 30s. It's been 30s in North Carolina
In the morning.
That's still cold. Like that's what you gotta wake up. You step outside, take your dog out. You're like,
you live in the middle of the Midwest.
And this is why we don't want to have a European soccer schedule.
What?
Oh, no.
You don't want the orange ball? Come on.
I don't want it to be 19 degrees
I really
at 2
don't
o'clock
want-
in the afternoon and, bundle up my kid to be like, okay, honey, we're going to the Union Omaha game. And he'd be like, the fuck you are.
Well,
I don't want to go to a Ford Madison game, and there's a 90% chance my car won't start after the match ends because it's too damn cold.
Well, it's like that Minnesota USA game where people's beers were freezing in the stands.
Someone was there.
Oh, yeah. That was a wild game. That's why I can't complain about cold. It was 0 degrees.
It was below 0.
It got to like -1 or 2 at a point.
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh.
Moving on to the Who's More Horny or Twitter game, Tormented versus Chattanooga. This was the game that I hyped up. What, Jill? Hey, that's a wild ass comment, dog. That's wild shit. Oh, ignore that. Oh,
You'll put the beating meat comment up, but you're not going to put his nipples on screen.
That's a wild ass comment. That's wild. Yeah, this is the game that I hyped up as being like this is the game everyone should be watching. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it seemed like Chattanooga did not show up for this game.
They were flat-footed the whole time. Tormenta, especially after the first goal, was just at them the whole time. Chattanooga just looked rattled. Like they looked legit rattled. They did not know. They just didn't know what had hit
It looked
them.
like what they normally do to teams happened to them. You know how like Chattanooga midfield is just like constantly causing chaos. It seemed like that happened to them in this game, and they didn't know how to react to it. You know.
Yeah, and I think it was, and I feel like there's also part of me that wonders: did Chattanooga know like what was going on in like the Greenville Richmond game, or like the Charlotte, and like they just knew like, and they maybe knew like before with the Omaha game, like we have a home playoff game, like we're good.
I didn't know Bolt was still here.
Never left.
But yeah, no, with Chattanooga though, they just looked bad, and Tormenta looked sharp. Like they looked like a team that has all the confidence in the world.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that game felt like it just went on for fucking hours. Like like the Richmond Greenville game ended. I was like, okay, this game's got to be close, and it was like still in the 60-something minute. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, they started
This game's been going on for 2 hours.
This is almost as long as a Walking 90 podcast.
Yeah, exactly. That's how long that show went on for. Anything else from this game? It really just, I don't know, y'all. Like, it just felt like Chattanooga was not up for it. I expected Chattanooga to try to fight for it. It just seemed that they were just like, yeah.
Because second place was still in play.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. But we move on.
I was at the game, so I couldn't say.
Eb, do you want a solo cam for this part?
No, I was so drunk at that game, I don't remember it.
Eb, we're gonna get this I figure this shit out.
Wait, why is Chip so
what? I'm so
I don't
confused
know.
now.
Hold on. There we go. Your 2022 Wooden Spoon winner.
Officially.
How does it feel? Back to back.
It feels like, honestly,
Feels like
I'm okay with this year's Wooden Spoon. I like it better than last year's because it like there was some type of direction, and now it's just about executing, which they didn't do in the final half of the season.
Feels like an artisan, like a very like artisan spoon.
Yeah,
like someone worked really hard on making that spoon.
Yeah, like that. I guess. Yeah, it like they could sell it for $60 at the carry shop. You know, it felt like they knew what they wanted to do with the balance of veterans plus shut up, Gio. Veterans plus academy, but they kind of lost it when they lost all their veterans in the middle of the season. So it was just a lot of academy that didn't really know how to be professional. And so they just kind of lost their way. And then when all the professionals came back, it was like, well, how do we dig ourselves out of this hole? And they just couldn't. So.
Okay. All right. I do want to ask you this, though. Like, seeing the 5-1 defeat to your in-state rival, Charlotte, and knowing what you guys could have done to them, does it kind of leave you with, like, a sour taste in your mouth? Like, not like weekly, but do you have, like, that kind of feeling of just, like, the opportunity is there to knock this team out in a rivalry game?
I think I'm more upset that we just did that against the rival. And not, like, yeah, there were some very bad lapses of, like, not defending. Like I said in our group chat, like, Fisher and Skelton are not the center back pairing that will lead us into greatness, you know? Fisher played very well for other teams at points in the season. So it's not like he's still young. And I don't know how you get him those game time experiences without putting him in there. So I get what they're trying to do, but there were times when we needed to win, and that just wasn't the answer. You know, like, we're a very attacking team, and sometimes having Pekka come in for a full 90 doesn't really help, especially when you have, like, Showcat and Cervania, who else have we got? Rincon coming in and just running straight at them. And here we have this one guy. Oh, man, if I could bring back Nazmi, I'd pay him every dollar I had right now. Because that's what they wanted Pekka to be, is that guy that can, like, hold down a midfield but still turn and go. But he's not turning and going. He's just still standing there at the 6 as players run by him on both sides. So...
yeah, it's about that time to hang him up. It's about that time. Nothing else to mention from this game outside of Charlotte clinches their playoff spot, and now all of a sudden, all the Charlotte FC fans decide, like, oh shit, there is a team going to the playoffs.
I don't want Lomas back. I will say that there were points where you could see that NCFC were attacking, because it literally. It was like they remembered that Charlotte didn't have a back line. And so, like, all of a sudden they've got like Somersault coming at them. Like, their right side is still so weak against speed. Because if that ball that went off the crossbar goes in, it's a different game. Mm-hmm. And then it's 2-2 instead of 2-1. And, you know, maybe we are turning the page and we're going at them, and it's just a whole different game. So,
well, maybe next year you guys aren't fighting for the wooden spoon as hard. So, hope you guys have a better year. We move on to the last game, the game that didn't matter, the game that actually, Kyle, your team actually relegated FC Tucson. Anything you want to talk about from this game, or should we just skip it?
I mean, if anyone watched. No, hold on. No, I was just saying, if anyone saw the match and saw the final chance that Madison had, it was last seconds. Madison gets the ball, attack, puts it across the 6, gets to a Madison player. If he just kicks the fucking ball, it's in the net. Somehow fucks it up. Tucson clears it. Madison doesn't score. That was the epitome of their season.
Epitome of both teams. Both teams were more excited not to be playing for the wooden spoon.
Oh yeah, they were both attacking. They were like, "Fuck it, we're gonna go attack. We're gonna just." And it was at least one of the more entertaining games, because I think both teams knew there was nothing wooden spoon on the line, at least.
Right. Well, that's the end of the regular season. That all happened there. End of the season, wars happened. Emiliano Trizaghi ended the season on 17 goals, wins the Go to Boot, his 3rd straight. Jonathan Bolaños has 11 assists on the season. So he gets the assist leader award. And then Nuhu from Union Omaha wins the Golden Glove Award. I think I saw somewhere like his savings percentage was like 98% or something like that. I don't know. Maybe I looked at it.
0.98 goals per game.
Okay. There we go. So he's giving up less.
He's also been – I'm kind of shocked. I wonder what the goal threshold was because I know when Madison got the goalkeeper whose name escapes me at the moment from Tampa Bay Rowdies, and he was just like on that hot streak for a while. People in Omaha were like, well, I wonder how many appearances he has to have to count.
I think you have to play at least – you have to play over 50% of, like, the possible minutes.
Mm-hmm. So that was kind of my question with Nuhu missing like the last 7 games of the season. It's like, well, I hope he's still eligible.
Yeah.
Which obviously he was because he won again.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Yes, Gio, he is.
Which, I think that's the big thing is you can still be the underdog for the playoffs with the goal leader and the assist leader on your team and then the second best goalie.
Hey, we will top into that right now. So each of us did a pros and cons list. Pretty much what we think the pros of each team are and what the cons are. So
we should start at 6.
We start at 6? All right.
Yeah, I already have the team. So.
All right. We go with Charlotte. So Charlotte pros, they can be unpredictable. Tied with Tormenta for points in the last 5 something.
Matches.
Yeah. So they're coming in real. I wrote that one. They're coming in real hot. So they are in one of the best forms in the league that's in the playoffs right now. And then they've also scored in bunches. We've seen that a couple times this year where they just come out and they score 4 or 5 goals. So that's, scary. And in the playoffs, if you can get up 2-3 goals, all of a sudden that team's on their back heel and, you can make some scary stuff happen.
There we go. All right. Another pro was can score in bunches sometimes, like Tim, you just said. The cons of Charlotte are can the defense keep up with the attack? And they have the roughest road to the final. Hence, that's why they succeed. So, guys, real quick, we'll take 1 minute. Let's dissect Charlotte. What do you guys think about Charlotte? Did the pros and cons fit for this team?
How do we still not know what this team can do on defense and they're in the playoffs?
I really think it's bend but don't break. And that's what I think this defense is. I think it's bend but don't break. Like, try to hold them out for a goal. If you let them go, all right, fine. We'll allow the attack to try to solve everything else. But I think it's really bend but don't break for them.
And I think
it's an attack that can.
Somebody go.
Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say it's an attack that maybe they might score 4 or 5 goals in a game and win like the first round against Tormenta. I'm not saying it's happened, but like that could be a case. But it's more likely they're going to get blown out, like the doors blown off of them. Yeah. Like I just don't think the defense is good enough for a championship.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, because if you want to, that's the thing is if you're trying to get into a shootout in a league like this where goals have been at a premium, like good luck. It's not like they can even score consistently. I think overall in the year, for a team that we're saying, man, they can score in bunches. Charlotte has 48 goals, which is a lot, but they've also conceded 48 goals. So every time they've had a shootout, they've also been blown out.
Yeah, that's true. Sure. Go, Brandon.
For me, I look at, for one, Adrian Zendejas, like him in particular, they conceded over 20 goals in that 7-game stretch where they had where they were switching keepers over and over again. In the other 23 games, Zendejas has only conceded 7 more than they conceded in that 7-game stretch. In 23 games, he has the highest difference between expected goals to goals in the league, higher even than Akira, which Akira is still huge. He's just he was expected to concede 32 goals and only conceded 27. And for me, as far as if they're able to hold on and get to overtime, get to penalties, there's no, outside of maybe Akira, better keeper for that kind of situation than him. That's guaranteed to be playing because Nuhu who knows if Nuhu's even going to be healthy. I don't know. He's incredible. I don't think we can. I think coming into this game, Charlotte, they have what it takes. I think if you can't shut down Trezor and Corey Bennett, like if you can't shut them down, it's a game over. I mean, because they've got so many weapons on the inside. The moment you shut down Mbuyu and Bennett, I think you can take care of that game easy. That's an easy win. But if you can't shut them down, can't keep them contained, then I don't see how they can be stopped, honestly. And with someone like Adrian Zendejas at the back, I don't care how bad your defense is. This guy has been standing on his head. So I'm really excited for that game. I thought about driving down to see it in person just because I think this is going to be the best game of the best game.
I think if Charlotte was playing Chattanooga, I'd give them a better chance, but I just don't. Not against Tormenta.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You should go down there and hug it out with Bolt.
I would. I'd love to.
All right. No. We move on to the 5th seed, Chubbs Union Omaha. So this is what we have for the pros. We have very good defensively, even with Nuhu out with injury. Good coaching with the best tournament experience in the league due to the U.S. Open coming on. For those who got Union Omaha got to the quarterfinals, I remember right, or semis.
Yep.
Was it quarters?
Yeah, round of 8.
All right, yeah, quarters of the U.S. Open Cup. In my head, I don't know why I think it was semis. The cons of the teams are, oddly enough, attack looks very rough. And who is going to get the starting goalkeeper? Will it be Nuhu? Will he return back in time? Or will it be Chip? Who's our backup? I can't remember his name right now.
Kevin Piedetra.
There we go. So, guys, let's take a minute or two to chat about Omaha. Do the pros fit the cons? Do the pros fit the cons?
Yeah, and I think for the goalkeeper one, I was talking to a couple of people at the Fresno game because that was really all there was to do at a certain point. And Nuhu's, there's been videos of him practicing. I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know if he's going to play, but that seems like a very J-esque move not to say anything and be like, well, we're going to make the playoffs anyways. So, like, let's just save him and have him come out. If he does, I think it's probably Omaha. If he comes back, it's probably Omaha's game to lose. And if he doesn't, and it's Kevin Piedetra or our third goalkeeper who we just signed, whose name I don't even remember, then it's more of an uphill battle. I think, having a guy like him between the sticks is always good, but I think it seemed like he was hurt pretty bad. And if he doesn't come back, that might be the season.
Okay. Anyone else has any thoughts on Union Omaha?
It's kind of like what I said
kind of
earlier.
all hit the point. Like defense has never been a problem. Yeah. Can you get one?
Yeah, that's the thing. If Union Omaha can get one, that defense is kind of solid enough to hold it off. The issue becomes if another team scores and Union Omaha has to press and now they have to open up, can that defense still hold on enough to allow the team to get the goal to kind of get back into it? So that's going to be the issue there. But it's going to be an interesting matchup with the 4 seed we have coming up in Chattanooga. I promise I won't make any horny jokes. I'll be serious here. The pros we have is can score in a blink. They can score in a heartbeat. They have the physicality to overwhelm any team's midfield, which is very true. The cons. Are they mentally strong enough to keep it together despite everything that's happening off the field? And lastly enough, there's a lot of off the field drama. So, guys, for Chattanooga, do the pros and the cons fit this club?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think
the
all
cons.
the off-field stuff that's happened even just this week is just adding to the mess that's happening. And I don't know if they can hold out for that much longer.
Well, and a team like Chattanooga that does play such on the edge, I don't know how the reffing is going to be. It's already questionable reffing as is, but now you're going to go into a playoff situation. Do you have a tackle that maybe would have been a yellow card in the regular season, and maybe it's a red card? It's going to be an interesting thing. Is them using that physicality going to potentially backfire, and can they keep their cool? and I don't know.
This game has pins written all over it. And it seems like Union Omaha's defense is the defense that's out of anyone's in this early round. It seems best suited for Chattanooga's attack because they can stifle them. You know, they can do the best job of kind of holding them off and keeping them at bay. I think the thing about Chattanooga that doesn't get questioned enough is their defense, is that back line, because their midfield and their attack does such a good job of like pressing you. That's true. I can see that happening.
It's like the Mighty Ducks. They're down 1-0 at halftime, and then they just come back out in the second half wearing Cash App colors, Cash App on the back, OnlyFans on one sleeve, Pornhub on the other. Let's go. Beat Omaha 6.
There's a Jergens commercial for Jimmy Weekly to start.
Jergens on the lower back. Sorry. That was bad.
I'm sorry, Lord.
Damn it.
All right, y'all. This I want to for Chattanooga.
This has been Walking 90. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Okay, let me get to it. Okay. So
I want to ask you guys this about Chattanooga. This is the team last year that had a home playoff game against North Texas. Was a minute or two away from penalties last year. Had a red card. Do we see a repeat performance of that happening now in this game against Union Omaha? Because this seems like the game that can be the closest in margins.
Yeah. Well, I think the Red Wolves too. They've been a kind of an. I don't know if I'd say undisciplined, but they've definitely been very reactionary, and they seem to take the bait a lot and get a lot of dumb fouls. So I could see them having some dumb foul, especially since the coaching consistency has been really weird for them this year. They've had all the player drama that's come up a couple times. Who knows? I could just see them doing something really dumb, but at the same time, I could see Omaha doing something really dumb.
Yeah.
I will say this: Chattanooga had the 6th most red cards in the season with 4. They had 94 yellow cards, which had them ranked second only behind Fuego, who had 106.
For $25, they'll finish, Matt.
Chattanooga also concedes 15.5 fouls. Oh my God. I was trying to say, Chattanooga definitely plays physical, and they foul a lot, and they concede a lot of penalties. They actually conceded the most penalties of the year with Charlotte.
Chattanooga's going to be the first team to have an NFT and an OnlyFans collection next year.
Wow.
Chattanooga's going to be sponsored by gas station boner pills next year.
Hymns! Only at Red Wolves.
Soccer Chat's going to be doing Blue Chew ads in the middle of their podcast.
God. All right.
The jokes just write themselves. They're great.
They do. We moved to the team that both love so much. We moved to Tormenta FC. These are the pros for them. It says most informed team heading into the playoffs, balanced attack that can't easily be shut down. The cons: facing the other hottest team in the playoffs. For those who don't know, they're playing Charlotte. Defense has been shaky and will have to get past some of the hottest offensive teams. Guys, I think we all can agree Tormenta is the hottest team in the USL playoffs. Can this team keep that momentum going, given it's their first ever playoff appearance?
Yeah, they're at home, so that helps. It'd be one thing if you were going on the road for your first ever playoff game, but you're at home.
Yeah.
And you're going against a team that has been very shaky on the road. So, yeah.
Anybody else? Got anything else you want to say?
I'm always high on Chattanooga. I'm high on anybody that plays Charlotte just because of the rivalry. But I'm liking what they've done this year, and I think it does fit. They can hang with the best, and everyone in this league, well, not everyone, but most teams in this league, defense is always going to be iffy, especially with the officiating that comes with this league. So
That is true. Tormenta Con is that they're not on the road. They are the best performing road team.
I mean, I think they can still make some things happen, especially for their first playoff game in is at home in a new stadium.
They look better at home than they did in other rounds. They looked a lot better. And I mean, Keziah Sterling is probably going to have his pick of the litter in this game when it comes to that Charlotte back line, right, Brandon?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Do you think Kingsford gets a goal as well? We saw him get a goal on.
I would love to see that. I would definitely love to see that. It just depends on. I'd be willing to bet just how high, with the amount of pressure that Tormenta puts on teams and how well they're structured. I could see Kingsford just tapping one in. He didn't have to try, though. If you watch him play, that dude can score some bangers. But I bet we see a Kingsford tap in right along the back post.
Yeah, there we go. That probably does work, Kyler. So now we move on to your 1 and 2 seeds. We got Greenville. So these are the pros from Greenville. Core has been battle tested for the playoffs. That's literally the only pro. Wow.
Damn.
Form has slowed and a lack of consistent offensive playmaker. So, guys, it seems like we're probably the least positive on Greenville. Why is that?
I think we just know what Greenville is, and at this point, it's like either they're going to win the whole thing or not. Like, I think we know what they are, and that's both a pro and con. We know what Greenville's about. We know their strength. We know what they're all about. Mm-hmm. That can also be the issue why they can't win it, because I mean, you also got a dude that's out here getting cardio in Jay Keegan, but
well, I think of all the teams, I think Greenville's definitely like the lunchbox team or the briefcase team, or we're on a business trip type of team. Like, we know what they're going to do. They're going to go in. They're well coached. They're well disciplined. They're going to go and do it. Like, they're not flashy. They're not like exceptionally awesome at anything, but they're just overall good, well disciplined. They don't make dumb mistakes, and they get results. Mm-hmm. Which honestly, this year maybe is probably the best thing you can be, because everyone else has real high highs and really low lows.
Yeah.
Yep. Honestly, the biggest knock for them is if Tormenta wins, they have to play Tormenta in the semifinals, and
I want another 5-5 game.
You're not getting another 5-5.
Yeah, you're not getting that.
We're not doing that. That's too much.
5-5 extra time, PKs going to goalies. You wanted chaos. There's chaos for you.
Yeah, that's right there.
Fair.
And it's with Pablo Yard just like shanking it over the left corner.
Right. All right, last one we got, y'all. We got the Richmond Kickers coming in as the 1 seed. The pros of this team: lightning quick attack with Bolaños and Emmy. Doesn't give up easy shots on goal. Best defensive duo in the league. Only team with that guy. Okay. The cons of this team: set piece defending, keeping clean sheets. Form has slowed. So, guys, Richmond.
They do have that guy. Like, if there was anybody in this league that you would trust with the ball at his feet inside the box, tell me it's not Terzaghi.
I mean, this is also true.
I feel like we got two guys then in Bolaños.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
again, Bolaños on one-on-ones isn't the best.
But he's still that guy. Like, he is still someone that if he has the ball, you need to pay attention. Even when he doesn't have the ball, you have to watch his movement.
Mm-hmm. That's like if I was a Richmond fan and I needed a goal and I'm sitting there and I see Terzaghi, ball at his feet in the box. I'm like, oh, fuck, we're about to sing the goal song. Let's fucking go. Who else? No one else in the league has that guy.
I mean, this is also true. I will talk about
how are you the 1 seed with the?
We're gonna just roast him for this in like 5 minutes.
You're not gonna roast me for it. I have a strong argument for
I'm gonna roast you. That is like a smooth brain take.
I have
it is the smoothest brain take
for this that makes logical sense.
Okay, well then let's put it in the pros. Richmond has that underdog mentality.
100%. This team is the underdog.
They love being the underdog. They love
We
chasing.
did not
They
favor
just
to be the 1 seed. Given that piss poor USL playoff preview show, which you got 10 minutes for, they literally said Greenville's going to win because, it's Greenville. Charlotte because they played the USL Championship and because their coach has MLS experience. And Tormenta because they have the best mascot, which has nothing to do with the fucking performance.
And Tormenta snuck into the league, remember? They snuck into the playoffs. Tormenta snuck in.
Oh, yeah, Tormenta snuck into the playoffs.
I did not say that. I want to be clear.
That was the show. That was not
me.
us.
was that Kerr? That wasn't Kerr who said that, was he?
No, it was Gary Lineker, whatever his name is. I don't know his name. But yes, literally, Richmond, and the reason why I say Richmond are underdogs is because you have to remember, the start of September, we just lost to Greenville. Once again, another 1v2 matchup. Greenville was ahead of us. Union Omaha had 50 billion games in hand. Chattanooga was sniffing everybody's ass and beating everyone. And Tormenta was like, oh shit, we have a new stadium. We know how to play at home. There were literally 4 teams that were supposed to jump us.
Who won the
Remember
championship?
last
for the
week when
regular
I was
season?
saying Omaha fans were being ridiculous for saying they had a bad season and blah
I'm
blah
not
blah
being
blah.
ridiculous.
This is the same
I'm
bullshit.
not
You cannot say
being
you're
ridiculous.
underdogs as the 1 seed.
I
This is
can't.
when you're making up bulletin board material.
This
You're
is like
making
when
bullshit.
Gonzaga gets the 1 seed and everyone's like, they're not winning.
No,
it.
you're not. You
This
are
is like some
Kansas.
this is like some
The
Coach
guy who
K.
did 10 minutes.
This is like some Coach K stuff right here, where he circled one vote in the AP ranking as number 2 and said, "Well, respect us over there in the national media."
Yes.
This is Nick Saban acting like, okay, we won, but it was only by 14 points. Get the fuck out of here.
Underdogs.
No.
Make sure you vote. Make sure you vote that Yogi is high because there's no way that
I'm
Richmond.
not high.
This ain't even high. This is just dumb.
No, it's not dumb. This is a logical argument. Okay.
No.
Once again, if we were to go back to the midseason preview, which all of you said Richmond has the biggest chances of not having a home playoff game, did y'all not?
Yeah, but that was 17
You weren't
months
even
ago.
there.
I wasn't, but I listened to the show because I listened to every show because I love each and every one of you. And
Matt was literally talking about how they're going to pop champagne. Matt was gassing Richmond up like no
yeah,
one's
that's
business.
that. We're talking about me.
But you were not there. Matt
We're
was
talking
representing
about me
Richmond.
and my
So
picks.
therefore,
This is the reason why I'm picking Richmond as the underdog because they are not supposed to win. There are literally 3 other teams in this bracket alone that people will favor before they favor Richmond.
I just think
they're underdog. Greg,
I think I
if they're
figured it
listening
out.
or not,
what Yogi's doing is he is preparing himself for when Richmond loses, when they should win. By all accounts, they should win and be like, I told you guys, they were underdogs. They're underdogs. They just happened to get first place. I mean, number 1 goalkeeper, man, fuck it. Number 1 in assists, who cares? Doesn't matter. The first team goalkeeper, that doesn't mean shit. 6 guys on the USL 1 first team, man, should have been 0. They're just making shit up. Looking for a narrative.
I'm not
Yogi's just trying to
looking for a
protect himself.
narrative. I just put my team as the underdog because
and
I
the
know
dumbest thing is, out of all your arguments, you could have literally said they lost a season series to Madison and the Henny Derby, and that could have been, no one would have questioned you as much. You had a great argument that you decided not to do. You could have said, you lost this, and that is why y'all are underdogs.
Your Cash App is not taken, so it might be the new Walking 90 Pod Cash App.
So no, this is your answer for why you're underdogs, because you lost this, and mentally it rocks you. That was your underdog argument,
didn't.
and you didn't use it.
we didn't rock y'all because y'all finished 9th. Your whole fan base made a dumbass argument that's more important than the regular season.
Yet, you're trying to say you're underdogs. Maybe this is why you're underdogs.
The only team, look,
Losing a season series to a 9th place team.
what you mean lose?
You lost a season series to the 9th place team.
Fine.
You see how
whatever.
dumb that sounds when you're trying to make up a bullshit
I'm not making a
explanation?
bullshit argument. I'm literally saying in the playoffs,
You're not an underdog.
I literally said it. Tormenta is one of the favorites. Chattanooga is a good team. Greenville is fucking Greenville. And Union Omaha can dumbly look their way into a final. Do we want to live in a universe in which is Union Omaha versus Charlotte? I think the fuck not.
If Union Omaha, not Union Omaha, if
Deflecting.
Charlotte makes the final, I will buy a Charlotte jersey.
Record that. Record that right now.
You're also the same person that Charlotte was missing the playoffs Green was missing the playoffs last year, and they won the fucking final. Got to the final.
It was looking
Jim.
dicey at a moment.
It was close for a hot moment. Everybody was nervous. There was about 3 weeks where everybody.
You're
was
not an
nervous.
underdog.
You don't have to believe it. In my heart, I know what everyone is
Put the
thinking.
cape, put the cape away, underwear away. Get
No
that
one
chant,
can-
whatever the underdog slogan is, get it out of your head.
We're underdogs.
It ain't real.
Yeah. Captain
It is
Thunderpants
real.
over there.
Okay. If we get to the final, if it's Richmond,
Congrats, you
Greenville,
did what you were supposed to.
Right.
I guarantee you the national media will be like, "Oh, it's Greenville," because
We are the national media.
and he shags
We
somebody.
are the national media.
We are the national media.
You know, USL's gonna have like a dumbass episode one week on ESPN where they're actually like, "Oh shit, Lee was actually."
They are not national
Nine
media.
people covering
3
this.
minutes doesn't
5 of
count.
them are here.
It counts to me, damn it. I worked hard for this title. I just want some proper respect.
Fuck this
National-
man's mic.
National media is us and On the Rocks podcast.
I just want some goddamn respect. We're like Rodney Dangerfield. We don't get enough respect. That's what I want.
Devin
Who
Kerr,
is
10.
we?
10.
We are not speaking French here.
All right. I'll start tripping because I don't feel like I'm tripping. Like, apparently my code stuff.
I'm just gonna
We'll move
laugh
on.
because we're about to do who's in the final, and Yogi 100% is gonna say Richmond.
Oh, fuck yes.
The underdog.
It doesn't mean I can't have the underdog mentality. We
That
were treated-
scrappy team down in Richmond.
We're gonna scrap through this. Barely
Right.
make it.
Right. We're going to treat this like Clemson without Dabo's racism.
Bro,
Do the
Envy's
ACC.
about to have like 2 hat tricks. And he's called underdogs.
We barely made it in. We got the golden boot winner and the assist leader. We barely made
Hey,
it. I don't
We
know
had
how
the
we
3-time
did.
MVP of the
That
league,
does
man. We
not
just got
matter
no one.
in the playoffs. None of that matters in the playoffs. You gotta perform. Gotta perform. I want perfection. I want it. Like we talked about Kyle's game, which, by the way, Kyle, I listened to the new Dogma Magazine episode. For those who don't know, Kyle Kidd, what, in the 90 percentile of height? So, Kyle, I want you to know your child will be coming down here to Richmond to train as a basketball player. You said it on the podcast. You said your kid was like the 90th percentile of like being tall or some shit. So yeah, I'm gonna train your kid how to be a basketball player. If Richmond doesn't win this title, just know I'm making that gravy train mine. All right.
Hey, Brandon,
So we
can you
got-
teach my kid how to do Visual Basic?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks,
Happy
man.
to.
There we go.
Anytime.
All right. So this is one of the questions we got. Who is the player that will stand out the most during the playoffs? So, you have Mbuyu. I had Ethan Bryant. Shut up, Kyle. Kyle had Jonathan Bolaños. Tip had Keziah Sterling. Brandon had Kiefer Ajayi. I think that's pretty much all spot on for the most part. Did Kyle freeze himself? I think Kyle's gone.
I think Kyle just decided he was done.
He probably did. All right, Kyle.
My internet was sick of your bullshit. And decided
Oh,
to
that's
just
all like a
cut
personal problem. So yeah, we got that. We also got a question from Matt Myers that I'll read out to you guys, and I'll put it up on screen. How many guys are we willing to guarantee will make the USL team of the year? So
11.
I'm assuming that if we take the 5 guys that we just have and that will stand out during the playoffs, how many of these players will make the USL team of the season?
Terzagi's a lock. Bolaños is a lock. Rogers is a lock.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if I want to say Mbuyu's a lock. I don't think
He's
so.
not.
I don't think Brian's a lock.
Yeah, I mean, those are the three guys that if they don't make, like, goalkeeper is going to be weird, left wing's going to be weird, right wing's going to be weird. I mean, those are the three guys where it's just like, if they're not on someone's team of the year list, it's wrong.
Yeah.
I'd say three.
I can't think of anyone else that like.
Well, I mean,
I would
goalkeeper's
say
going
is
to
a
go
lock.
to him.
No, it's not.
Maybe,
No.
but that's not a lock. I would not say goalie is a lock.
Who's in between him and Akira?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you got to also. I'm basing this off of how they done goal of the year for the team of the year. They've always given it to the guy that's won the Golden Glove because last year
They literally did that last year.
Was it?
Akira won last
Akira
year.
got it. Akira got first.
That's what I'm saying. He was in the
Because all
first
the
team.
Omaha fans are pissed off. They're like, how do you win the Golden Glove, but you don't win?
Oh,
And it's
yeah.
like, well, because Golden Glove is a statistical category, and
Well,
team
again,
of the year is
they
the
might
best
have
goalie.
a strong case to make the first team.
Mhm. Yeah, because
So
Newton
no,
was second team last year.
Okay. All right. Well, never mind. That does have my argument. So yeah. I mean,
And the problem is, I want to say someone from Greenville will make the first team. I just don't know who.
Yeah.
I put my money
Maybe a
on.
midfield, the defender.
Right.
I
Aaron
put my money
Walker.
on Lee. Yeah.
Well, but something like Fricky gets a nod or something.
Yeah, he's always going to get one.
First of all,
The
you
legacy-
can't say
the
raw
legacy
stats
nod.
after all the jokes we've been making all night.
You said what?
You can't say raw stats after all the jokes we've been making all night, Matt. Just saying. Keep going.
Okay. Very true. Very true.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I think three. There's three guys that I would say like I feel like strongly about, but after that, it's kind of like. But that's more because of the ascendancy of those three players, and like the rest of the league's kind of just been fine, and there's a lot of good guys, but there's only like three guys that I think are like the guy.
Yeah. I feel like there's a lot of people that's like, if they made it, I wouldn't be surprised. But I also, there's a lot of people that they make it, I'm just like, yeah, okay, sure, why not?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be interesting. I'm assuming this will drop week after next, right?
I felt like it was later in the season. Like, I felt like it was like right after the league ended, or maybe like going into the week of final. I don't know. I felt like it was late.
I think they probably do it the week of the final. They'll let you know, like, this is this, this is this, this is this. Maybe so.
Because they had like the MVP, they had like the finals for all the awards like right before the final.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see. But, guys, your playoff matchups looks like this. They start on Saturday. We start off with Tormented versus Charlotte. ESPN Plus, of course, 7 p.m. Biggest talking points about this game. Battle of good chaos versus bad chaos. Can Charlotte's back line slow down Tormented attack? Here's a quick stat for you. Tormented attack has 10 goals in 7 games, while Charlotte's defense has given up 8 goals in 10 games. And also, who are the players to watch for this matchup?
I think we kind of touched on it. It's going to be Embiid versus Sterling. But I also think Carmena takes this game.
Curious what the center back pairing does, because I feel like if they're not like Charlotte's not going to be able to just like float crosses in. So is Charlotte going to try and do more low crosses, just not even bothering with crossing the ball, just running at the defense? Can those two guys handle it? So I would say the players to watch are Dangler and Phelps.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I mean, they're going to be getting hit all night with the wingers from Charlotte. They're just going to be cutting in all night long. Can they defend that?
I think an important player for Charlotte I'll pick on too is for Tormenta is Bellhart. I think he's a key player that gets missed in that attack with Sterling and Kingsford. He's going to be important. I think if Tormenta wants to get his attack going and keep it in the same rhythm, he's going to be key. I think for Charlotte, I think Clay Dimmick, their captain. I think he plays left back. Yeah. If he's on it, Charlotte defense can figure out a way because he's going to be on the same side with Kingsford, and I think Bill Hart kind of floats to that side sometimes as well. I mean, Bill Hart, so he's going to be key. If they can pick him apart, the rest of Charlotte's defense is going to fall apart very quickly early on. And the first 20 minutes of this game is going to let you know how this game is going to go. So that's what I would say. Chip, anything from y'all?
I mean, just watching them last week, that midfield is going to be a mess. Ibarra, I think, is going to be kind of that late super sub. And Buyu looks good, but he's definitely got like injuries that he's got to still overcome. It looks like he was gingerly walking off at the end of that game, and like that attack lives and dies by him. Like, let's be honest. So
Yeah. I mean, I think of the two playoff games this weekend, if you are a fan that doesn't have a rooting interest, this is the game to watch.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, true. Also, Overton. I know he scored his first 3 goals of the season in the last game. Which, by the way, I looked at the expected goals of that game. There were not supposed to be that many. I think Charlotte had less expected goals than Tormenta. I remember correctly, but do you think Overton is going to have any impact on this game, given how he's been playing thus far? He has 3 goals and 3 assists in his 15 games.
I think he is going to be very targeted.
Yeah.
I feel like Tormenta's going to know, shut this guy down. That's the entire Charlotte midfield, and you're good.
Yeah. All right. I wanted you guys for a score prediction, but on this game, who do we think we have moving on?
I'm going to give it to Tormenta just because I think they're going to produce a little bit more chaos in the midfield and in the forward position and score a couple more.
Okay. You got one for Tormenta, Chip, Kyle.
I trust Tormenta's defense more than Charlotte's defense. I go Tormenta.
Yeah.
Tormenta.
Yeah, I'm riding with the Stormy boys. I think they're a lot more consistent, and I think in the playoffs, if we're making picks, you got to kind of go with both teams are riding a hot hand. But I think Tormenta's more because of skill and trying to be hot, while Charlotte's just kind of somehow been pretty decent recently. So I gotta go with Tormenta.
All right. Brandon, did you make that pick because you know that Bolt?
I'm tired, man.
Bolt is watching.
He's watching.
I'm tired, man.
Yeah, Charlotte doesn't have an anthropomorphic Paul Revere to come in and talk shit on us for all picking Tormentas. So that's why we're picking Tormenta.
There we go.
Seriously, I think really it's gonna basically be down to whether or not Zendejas can save the day. I just don't think Kyle was saying that the attack for Tormenta and the defense for Charlotte, just don't trust him enough. If Zendejas can save the day and get them to penalties, maybe Charlotte can win, but I think just Tormenta's the better team.
And I don't want to go on TikTok and find myself being memed.
Yeah, that too. I'm tired, man. So tired.
Brandon sounds so sad. God,
that TikTok was brutal.
Oh, man.
That was a brutal TikTok.
I was complimentary the entire time. I don't know what the problem was.
Yeah. All right. The game that's kicking off literally 30 minutes afterwards. We got Chattanooga versus Union Omaha, the first 5 matchup. Oddly enough, this game is going to be a post-game fireworks show. So there's a joke there. There's absolutely a joke there.
So it's revenge for when we had a post-game fireworks show after Chattanooga, and then they ended up drawing in the 93rd minute.
Yeah.
And then they had a photo of their players on the field watching fireworks and being like, "Thanks for the show for us, Omaha," or something like that. And it's like,
you didn't win. All right, whatever. Other talking points about this game is who will be the number 1 for Union Omaha. I think we kind of discussed that a little bit, given the injury. Can Chattanooga force Union Omaha's midfield into the stakes? And who do we have as the players to watch for in this matchup, y'all? So, Chip, we'll start with you, of course, because you are the resident Union Omaha fan on the show.
Yeah, for sure. For Omaha, I think you gotta look at the midfield. You gotta look at JP Skeers, who's been kind of playing a defensive midfielder role. Been one of the most transcendent guys in the league for the last couple of years now, flying underneath the radar. Does a lot of great things that don't show up in the stat sheet. Awesome player. One of the guys that I think is probably not going to be in USL 1 this upcoming year. And then the other guys, Connor Doyle, veteran midfielder, been all over the world. Awesome guy. And then I think probably the most important for Omaha is going to be Kevin Piedetra and Connor Knutson. They're the remaining defensive players from our starting lineup. Can they go in? Can they do the right thing? Can they hold the fucking line? Because that's the thing for Omaha. You got to hold that line because we cannot score. You cannot let an early goal in. You cannot let them score when we're up 1-0 in the 84th minute. You got to hold the fucking line because we've had a lot of dumb luck this year, and we still finished fifth with all the dumb luck in the world we could get.
And I think it would do some good for the Union Omaha team. I mean, oddly enough, I think like if you get away from your own stadium, given how tumultuous everything's been with the fan base and supporters groups, I think like getting away it might be a positive thing for y'all. And getting a big win like that can do something for y'all.
Yeah.
I think for Chattanooga, a player to watch is going to be Jimmy Villalobos. I got to try and keep a straight face. So I think Villalobos will be the guy for Chattanooga. I think out of anyone in Chattanooga's midfield, he's going to be the one that kind of sets the tone. He's going to be the one that's going to have to try and not make the mistakes that Omaha can pounce on the second ball. He's going to be the one that's going to have to put the passes in for Metzingen, for Glindres, for their 90 other attackers. Like, he is the guy that pretty much will set the tone for Chattanooga's midfield. If he's on, Chattanooga's going to be on. If he's off, Chattanooga can still get by because their attack is that good. But then it kind of feels as though they're more prone to making that mistake that Omaha can capitalize on with the second ball. So I'm going to say Villalobos is the player to watch on the Chattanooga side.
For me personally, all right, so I'm going to change my underdog pick. I'm not going to pick Richmond because you guys won't allow me. I'm going to go Union.
Bullying works.
It does. It 100% works. Bully people.
Well, logic too.
But I will go with Union as my underdog pick. And this is the reason why. I think J.P. Sears is probably one of the better midfielders in his league, and I think he has the ability to dictate the tempo in this game. I think also that Yogi's experience and giving J. Mims' experience in tournament runs, like I just stated, like being on the road, I think this team's comfortable with that. They've played in tough environments. They played in Chicago. They played in Minnesota. They played in Sporting KC. They played in tough environments. I think that's kind of working to their advantage. I think there's probably no tougher environment or no more hated environment than Chattanooga, given all the cash apps and rubbing Red Rockies that you see there. I think Omaha goes in there, and I actually don't think it goes to Pins. I think they win this game in regular time.
You just can't win tonight, yeah.
Matt is going to rip me on the show, and I'll be fine for it.
So for those of you listening on podcast, Matt made a comment of new underdog, defending champ that also went to the quarterfinals in the cup.
Yeah. I know Matt's going to rip me for it on Sunday, and I'm totally fine with this.
Yep.
But yeah, so that's what I got. Anyone else? Did everyone else say who's the player to watch the game? Did I miss that?
I don't have a player, but I'm gonna give it to Omaha just because I think they can score at least one, and then defend for their lives, and then all of a sudden here we are again. Back on the bullshit.
Yeah, I think Omaha got really lucky in our playoff matchup because you had like the two hottest teams playing each other and then like the two coldest teams playing each other, and one of them has to win because that's how the playoffs work. And so Omaha hopefully had a nice little coming to Jesus moment with Coach Mims this week. We're focused, we're ready to go. We're playing the Red Wolves team, and hopefully we can use that as a springboard. But someone's got to win, and I think Omaha's going to pull it out just because I think Omaha looked finished versus Fresno, but I think they're going to be able to turn it around. At least that's what I'm telling myself to make myself feel better.
We're going to see a premature ejaculation from Chattanooga on the way to the exit. Omaha wins.
Everybody have a blessed night. Have a blessed night. Remember, if you're having sex, please wrap it up. Remember that your tweets are public. Don't put your cash apps out there.
My spirit.
If you are on the audio only version of this podcast, you should
No,
come
you gotta
back
watch. You gotta go to YouTube
and watch.
This is not an audio only.
The comment section has been some grade A shit today, some gourmet stuff.
This is the best comment section all season for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
This is why the show goes past 90 minutes.
Like I said, the Tormented game almost went as long as a Wonka 90 podcast.
And now we got the pastor making sections. God damn it, we are some fucking heathens. As always, folks, we want to say thank you for watching the show. Without y'all, we couldn't do this show. Without y'all, all jokes aside, it's been a wonderful year. I want to thank Chip. I want to thank Ab. I want to thank Kyle. I want to thank Brandon. Because without them, I wouldn't be able to do the show nor cover this league. They have been wonderful co-hosts this year. So give them a round of applause. Please support them as always.
We've got 2 more weeks, baby boy.
I know, but I'm just giving y'all congratulations now.
Okay.
I'll take
So,
it.
There, thanks.
premature ejaculations, congratulations, whatever. Y'all Chattanooga.
Okay. I'll see y'all.
Good night.
As
All right.
always, remember to like, share, and subscribe. And remember, don't give your Cash App to scammers or tweet Cash App because you'll have a bunch of scammers.
This episode has been sponsored by Kleenex.
Goodbye.
Turn it off. Turn it off.